Hello to my wonderful, wonderful, wonderful patrons. Today's is a little different, and I'm all for a little different. I think it helps make the show better. So we're doing a Waiting for Godot riff. Couldn't find a bowler hat, but you know what? That's how this show works. You get things short notice and you improvise. Literally. So I'm about to kick things off. I'll think of the starting line, and then away we go. And if anybody walks up during this thing, well, they're part of the show. All right, let me think of a starting line here. It is so hard to find a bowler hat on short notice these days. And then this is where the theme song goes. You're listening to Fix My Carcast, hosted by Bear Claw Billy, and this is episode 72. Comedian and musician Keith Hebert is out leaping from life to life, putting things right that once went wrong and hoping each time that his next leap will be the leap home. But first, housekeeping. This is the show where you pick what I say and how I say it. Pick a topic or prompt by donating to the GoFundMe, and vote on the gimmick by joining my Patreon for just $1 a month. Join at the $5 or higher level and also get bonus episodes and behind-the-scenes footage. Links are in the description. Also down there, merch. Get yourself some merch. We do not sell bowler hats with my logo on them. I'm so sorry. We have a new donation this week, and it's $100 from our old pal Anonymous2. Welcome back, Anonymous2. The total raised for paying off my car repair debt is now $1,501. Also, when we get to $2,000, we unlock an automatic show gimmick, which is I will watch all the Fast and Furious movies back to back and then record my podcast at the end. Fun fact, did you know that this whole podcast disappears when we hit $3,000? I made this promise a while ago, and I will not be going back on it. I swear. If there's any episode you've been meaning to get around to, you better get around to it. You may have noticed we have a new theme song, courtesy of Anonymous2, who requested I add a synth-heavy intro in a minor key that praises Cathalak, a monstrous elder god living at the bottom of a lake. Do you like it? No? Well, if you make a donation of $50 or more, in addition to picking an episode topic, you get to change one thing about the theme song forever, unless somebody else changes it back. Want me to praise a different elder god, potentially sparking a battle of cosmic proportions? The fabric of existence may be rent asunder. But yeah, I can knock that out for $50. No new patrons this week. Hey, did you know we don't have a single patron named Joel? Weird. If any person named Joel joins my Patreon by the time the next episode is recorded, I will title that episode Magicians Ranked by Sex Appeal, regardless of the episode topic. Come on, Joels, make $1 disappear. Now it's time for a topic suggestion. I'll suggest topics I think I could easily talk about for a whole episode, though admittedly I think the show is more fun when it's something I'm completely clueless about. So, something I could talk about is electronic music production. It's like one of my favorite things and something I've been fiddling at for over 20 years, and if you've ever been curious about it, toss a donation my way. Hey, perfect segue. A reminder, my chill new album Ethalog is out on all kinds of streaming services, so please go check it out, leave a review, tell your friends, etc., etc. Check the links in the description to start chilling. Checking in on the best city in the world based on which city listened to the last episode the most, and we've got a 5-way tie between Marlton, New Jersey, Meriden, Connecticut, Brunswick, Maine, Westbrook, Maine, and, you guessed it, Biddeford, Maine. Ties are broken by whichever city listened to the most episodes, and our big winner is once again Biddeford, Maine. Congratulations, Biddeford, Maine. I can't clap, my hands are full. Let it be known that your Leopardstown Racecourse, Loretto Convent, and Bistro One Fox Rock are the best in the world for 7 days. Last episode, I had to help Dracula plan a summer vacation while recording it in a closet. You can see video of that cramped and sweaty experience over on Patreon. Also, head over to Patreon for a bonus episode where I talk about God knows what. It's been a weird time for me. I've actually got some exciting Dracula updates, but we'll get to those in a little bit. Okay, let's talk next week's gimmick poll. These are your choices for next week's episode gimmick. They are, number 1, do the show without a gimmick. Number 2, go gimmick free. Number 3, display a lack of gimmicks. And number 4, do another secret gimmick. Now, you may be a little underwhelmed by those options, but honestly, I gotta make sure I don't burn through all my best gimmick ideas because y'all ain't voting. There are no returning gimmicks because y'all ain't voting. I have several patrons, all of whom are eligible to vote, and I'm not sure why I'm mentioning that because, oh yeah, y'all ain't voting. Remember that any gimmick that gets just a single vote is eligible for a second chance in 6 weeks. Be sure to vote over on Patreon. The poll closes Thursday, May 25th at noon Eastern America time. All right, time for today's gimmick, which is Don't Do A Gimmick. Of course, gimmicks don't start until housekeeping is out of the way in case any of them prevent me from sharing vital information. But now, on a technicality, we are entering the gimmick zone. From this point on, gimmicks are active and everything is improvised. Today's topic comes to us from Anonymous2 for $50, and I've been asked to do a dialogue about the absurdity of the 21st century human experience. Okay. Folks, I am a bit out of my element right now because I feel a little naked without a gimmick. And the topic is so vague, the absurdities of life in the 21st century. Where to begin? Well, I can begin with where I am right now, which is I'm in a local park. I'm at Cheney Park in Columbus, Ohio, Maine. And there appears to be exactly one tree with no leaves. And that seems a bit absurd. I want to just take this time to calm down and just kind of feel how nice it is to not have a gimmick and to just be able to talk about whatever I want. There are so many inconveniences these days why everyone is staring at their phones. No, but that's a topic everyone talks about. Using their phones, ironically. Everyone is looking in their phones, complaining about their phones. We didn't look in mirrors and complain about mirrors. We complained about ourselves. And that sets me on something I do want to talk about, even though it's maybe a little off topic. Mirrors, reflections, and the people who leave no reflection in them. Friends, I am going to give you those updates on Dracula. So, if you listened to the show last week, I had to plan a summer vacation for Dracula. Dracula never showed up. Haven't seen Dracula since jingle season. And I have an exciting update. After recording the episode, I'm not sure when it happened, but I only know when I noticed it. Dracula left me a message. It's real. I have it here right now. I don't know how he got in. My only guess is he could enter while I was in the gimmick zone. That or perhaps he had someone leave the message, but I have it right here, folks. I've reread it several times. It is a thing of beauty. I am just so happy to know that my friend Dracula is okay. And the message that he left me, he left it in the same notebook where I take notes for this show, right next to my review of that 100 Gex album. He said, he has such a way with words. Billy, meet me in Cheney Park at sundown this Thursday. Dracula. It's right there, folks. Here, I'm holding it up if you're watching on video. So there it is, folks. I have an ulterior motive while I talk about the absurdities of 21st century living. I am waiting for Dracula. The sun has almost gone down. By my estimate, we've got about 30 minutes. So I'm really hoping that not only will I get to see Dracula again, but Dracula's presence will once again grace our show, and then you'll be able to listen to it on your phone, which is where you do everything. I'm really excited. I'm actually wondering if Dracula will show up on camera, which, there's some lore around him not having a reflection, but I don't actually know if he can be filmed. I've never caught him on camera for this show, so I'm very excited to know if that is, in fact, a possibility. Because I need Dracula to show up, because in a way, I'll sort of be able to see a reflection of myself in my phone if he arrives, because I get a little paranoid that people aren't listening because they want Dracula and they don't want me. So who's the real vampire? Am I draining the life force from Dracula in order to keep my own show alive? No, the reason I have a show is to keep myself alive, because that's what life is all about, continuing life, even though one day it does come to an end, but not for Dracula. Or has it already? Is Dracula dead or alive? Are we all in the same state as Dracula? There's really no way to know unless we tell ourselves, and we tell ourselves a lot of things. I don't know. I feel about as lone as this one tree with no leaves here. I don't know how to get through life. I mean, look what I'm doing here for you now. I can barely survive, and I have to put on these shows. I have to become a character. I have to put on a performance, and isn't that what all of us feel like we have to do? We don't get to be who we really are. We be who we think we should be. But neither of them are the real us. There's two people. And here, in fact, I am but one person waiting for another person. It was asked of me to do a dialogue, but how does one do a dialogue with one person if you break the word down? This can only ever be a monologue. Is that what life is? Are we all just monologuing at each other and calling it dialogue? Is that what we do when we stare into the little mirrors that do not reflect? Perhaps. I do not know. I see someone in the distance, and not Dracula. Okay, not Dracula. All right. Well, I'm sure Dracula will be here any minute, and I can't wait to talk to him. But in the meantime, let's think about some more absurdities of modern living, or in Dracula's case, modern dying. Is Dracula dying? Is Dracula slowly dying? Is Dracula coming back from death? It's probably worth noting that it is World Dracula Day this week. Not at time of recording, but at time of posting, it will be the week of World Dracula Day, the day specifically chosen because it is the date of the publication of Bram Stoker's biography of Dracula, which really thrust him into the public consciousness. Though, isn't that a little upsetting that we celebrate Dracula on the day of his biographer's success at releasing that into the world? Excuse me, I've got a belch, probably some indigestion. I made a large bowl of pasta salad that has fed me for the entire week, and I sometimes wonder, is consuming the same thing every day bad for the body or the soul? I don't know. Pasta salad seems to have all of the things that I need. It has bread in the form of pasta, and it has vegetables in the form of cucumbers and red onions, and it has meat in the form of turkey and of ham, and it has cheese in the form of Colby Jack and extra sharp New York cheddar. I don't know if there's garlic in the Italian dressing, but I probably should have considered that before eating some tonight. But we can't all keep watching what we consume. We must simply consume, and that is how things feel in this modern day and age. And it would be a joy to stop consuming, and that will happen one day inevitably for all of us. The consumption will stop, but as long as the duplication of humanity continues, then the consumption will also continue. Even the forms we took before this must consume. Consumption is everything. People ask for the meaning of life, and I'm here to tell you, it is consumption. It is always, always consumption. We must feed until we bleed, and this is the nature of things, the very nature. Have you ever read the Bible? It's a real banger. There's some cool stuff in there. Floods, zombies, all kinds of stuff. And you know, I've often found it fascinating, the story of Job, because the story of Job really is the story of life. We are forever being tortured again and again and again, but do we turn away from our Creator? And by that I mean our parents. I mean, kind of, yeah. I mean, things are rough. The more time passes on and on, the harder things get. and we just simply wait and wait for the day that we don't consume anymore. This is feeling a little too coherent for an homage, and by an homage, I mean an homage to myself. I'm a reflection of a shadow of an ancient timeline of consumption. Where am I going with all this? I'm honestly just waiting for Dracula. Where is Dracula? I feel like he should be here. Sun's getting real low. He'll be along any moment. I'm sure of it. I see someone in the distance. Truth be told, I don't even know what Dracula will be wearing. I don't even know what state Dracula will be in. Well, Maine, obviously, but the message that Dracula left, well, it left a lot to the imagination, much like Dracula left me. Oh, Billy, what are you talking about? Think! Since the dawn of time, the ebb and flow of existence like a river that forks, and forks are needed to eat, and as we eat, we are burning fuel. And what is fueling us? We are fueled by our passions, but passion is often leading to anger, which leads to hate, which leads to suffering, and we cannot stop these things because we cannot stop anything. Go is the sign of life. Go is what we must always do. We must always keep going and multiplying and adding and subtracting, and the mathematics woven deeply within our deoxyribonucleic acid can only be freed when we reach the end of the line. All aboard, everybody off, last call. We simply must find a way to stop. We keep going and we want to stop. We keep going and we need to stop. We need, we feed, we bleed. Indeed, this is all we do. Time and again and time and again and time, backwards, forwards. Timelines, Michael Crichton, Jurassic Park, Westworld. Westerns, spaghetti, pasta salad. I feel lucky. Do you, punk? Dracula should be along at any moment. I look forward to seeing him, but I also look backward to the way I've been treated. Again, I don't really know what's going on with Dracula. I don't know if he made a conscious choice to avoid me. All I know is that when he put on that Mariah Carey dress, it gave me an erection. But what to follow? Well, a night of embrace, life and death coming together, but ultimately creating a ghost. I've been ghosted by a vampire. Dracula has left me. I feel disheveled. Truth be told, I've never really known how to say that. My English teacher once revealed that he didn't learn how to pronounce the word melancholy until college, and he used to pronounce it melancholy. And I truly feel melancholy. In this moment, I know what it is to be melancholy. Also, I've kind of got a cold right now. You almost got sick beats this week, but I couldn't because I had an appointment with Dracula, and I could not give up that appointment. I'm sure he'll be along any moment now. My hair is in disarray from the hat that I was wearing, but I've removed it. Perhaps I should remove myself from this situation. Perhaps there will be no Dracula. Perhaps I should move on. I'm going to move on. I'm going to leave. I see the sun has not yet gone down, though. I can see light, and as long as I can see light, I know Dracula won't be here. I'm about halfway through reading Bram Stoker's account of Dracula's life because I want to know more about him. And halfway is such an interesting place to be in a relationship, in life, in death, in needing to consume the blood of others. Consuming and consumption, always coming back to it. The tree will always need to be watered. And this is where we live. But then there are people who exploit that need. They exploit our need for consumption. They are vampires. They are the vampires of capital. Vampires with a capital V. Vampire. And I'm going to vamp here because I just really want to know where Dracula is. I'm going to get up from this spot. I've been sitting in one place the entire time, never moving, occasionally trying to remove a boot. But this is what this is, a boot. Canada, which is next to Alaska, which is where I recommended that Dracula go for a summer vacation. But here's the rub. Permit me to rub myself down. I made an egregious error last week when I said that the perfect summer vacation for Dracula would be in Alaska because there are 30 days of night, Josh Hartnett. I have made an error, and I owe it to Nicole, last week's donor, to correct myself. The 30 days of night happens in Alaska in January, roughly whereabouts. So that's not a summer vacation. That is a winter vacation. So in embarrassment, in shame, I feel like a fool. It's been such a hard week. I've been through so much. I feel like I've been beaten and left in a ditch. But I have to correct this because that's the kind of person I am. I simply cannot let such an egregious mistake go uncorrected. And if only Dracula were here, I could talk to him about the perfect summer vacation. I could atone for all my transgressions. I've done some bad things, though in fairness, I've never sold slaves. That's a reference to slavery, which was horrible, but also a reference to a certain play that, in fairness, I kind of skimmed before recording this. As a matter of fact, I got halfway. Is that my fate, to always reach the halfway point of every book? I am reaching the halfway point of this book. My age is roughly half of the age that I should live to, though that is always the big mystery of life. Isn't it? Isn't it? But is it a mystery if we all know where we're going? We don't know when, but we know where. We have a map. We do not have a calendar. That is ultimately the state that we are in. Though some cheat. Some burn the calendar. Dracula is one such person who burns a calendar. I feel like I've been on the topic of Dracula for too long, and that's not proper for the homage of this melange, which is menage a trois. It should be housework for three. It should be me, you, and Dracula all together. That is the trifecta, the trio, the triangle that we seek. Oh, and that is the thing. Modern living. We all feel so alone. We gaze into the little pocket mirrors and we think we find family there, but we don't. We are alone. We've just been through a plague, a disease, or are we the disease, here to consume rather than let be? We always consume. This, my friends, or my friend, or no one. Dracula. Where is Dracula? I think he's going to be along any minute now. No! Balderdash. Horse feathers. I've given up on Dracula. That's it. I'm going this very instant. I am wrapping up the show. I am closing out the gimmick zone. He simply won't appear. He doesn't appear in a mirror, and he doesn't appear for me or for you. He only appears for himself. And that's the thing. We all appear for ourselves. You know, there's self-preservation, self-image, self-loathing, self-care. What do? How do we comfort ourselves while also consuming? There's a black and a white to it all. And I want a world of color, but I'm starting to see that there is none. There is only the harsh truth of living, and that is that we will be forever waiting to stop consuming. And it will come, but not for our fellow people. Loneliness encroaches upon me. Even though I'm surrounded by people, aren't we all alone in one sense or another? If only Dracula was here. I'm sure he'll be here any minute now. And then, no, he's not coming. He's not coming. I know. The sun gets lower and lower in the sky. And according to Bram, he's actually fine in it. Like, he just doesn't have his powers. He doesn't burn up, but I don't know who to believe. They say there's only one person you can trust, yourself. Well, I say subtract one. I can't trust myself, and I certainly can't trust anyone else. No, trust is the ultimate fantasy. The fable, the story, the illusion, that's what trust is. And I have none. I am anti-trust. I'm leaving. The show is over, and I'm leaving. I'm done waiting for Dracula. I'm going. He's not coming. I don't think he was ever coming. I'm starting to doubt he ever wrote me this note. He's never been good at communicating. Why would he handwrite a letter when he couldn't even shoot me a text? I gave him his number. He said he didn't have a phone. But he has my number. He can find a phone. He can find me if he really cared. Oh, but what if he's going through something? What if he's going through everything? I'm going through everything. Let me tell you, I'm going through so much. I am so ready to not be going through anything anymore. And yet we mustn't rush. But oftentimes we wait for nothing. I'm leaving nothing. Nothing is not coming. I'm getting up from this very spot. I have decided it, though the time code ever mocks me. But really, how long have I been doing this? Well, one could say about 30 minutes. One could say 37 years. One could say since time began. Some could say before that. I'm still waiting. But no more. That's it. I'm putting my foot down. The show is over. I am going home. I don't need Dracula. All I need is to consume. All right, it's settled then. Away I go. I'm wrapping up the show. I hope you've had a good time listening. It's getting cold. I'm wondering if that is from Dracula, or is that what ghosts do? I feel like a ghost. At this point, I have no true form. There's who I am, and there's what I am made of, and the two have not been in congruence for a long, long time. I am defiant. I defy time. I defy Dracula. For real, for sure, for all the marbles, the whole kit and caboodle, the whole ball of wax. All for one. One for me. 2 for the money. 3 to get ready. 4 to go. I'm going. That's it. I declare it. I declare. I'm going. I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here. I'm going. I'm removing myself from the equation. I am leaving. I am placing my hat upon my head. I am preparing myself to vacate the premises. I am leaving the park. I am walking past the people staring at me now, wondering what the hell this is. And that's fine. I've made my peace. I'm leaving. Okay, I'm ending the show. This is it. For real. No takesy-backsies. No crossing your fingers. Spit shake on it. I am ending the show. I am leaving. This is it. This is the end. We are approaching it. Finito. Roll credits. No Nick Fury at the end. We are ending this. I am ending this. I am going home. I am leaving. I am getting up from this very spot, and I am wrapping up the show. As always,